October 2nd, 1999, 2:47 a.m., Austin, Texas. 18-year-old Christina Beard is asleep in her bedroom when her door flies open. Lights flash on. Her mother is standing there, panicked, frantic.
Someone's at the door. Christina, someone's at the door.
I jump out of bed because she's in a full panic. I'm confused, half asleep, and I'm heading toward the front door when I see these white flashing lights through the windows.
Christina runs to the phone, dials 911. Her hands are shaking. The operator tells her the people outside are police. Police? Why are police at her house at 2:47 in the morning? Christina opens the front door. Officers rush inside.
They ask me, "Is your dad home?" I say yes, he's upstairs. And they just run straight up to his bedroom.
Christina follows them. Her mother is right behind her. When they reach the master bedroom, Christina sees something that will change her life forever. Her stepfather, Steve Beard, is lying in bed, covered in blood. Paramedics are already working on him, desperately trying to stop the bleeding.
There's so much blood. On the sheets, on the floor. And I'm thinking, what happened? Was there an accident?
Then a police officer picks something up from the floor, a shotgun shell.
The officer looks at me and says, "Your father's been shot." And I just couldn't believe it. Shot? Who would shoot Steve?
Steve is airlifted to the nearest hospital. Critical condition, barely alive. Christina calls her twin sister Jennifer, tells her to get to the house immediately. The crime scene is sealed off. Detectives arrive. They need DNA samples from everyone who was in the house. Christina, Jennifer, their mother Celeste. And as they're walking out of the house, Celeste leans close to Christina and...
If the police ask you who might have done this, don't mention Tracy's name.
Christina freezes. Don't mention Tracy's name. Why would her mother say that? Why would she protect someone? Unless she knew who shot Steve. Unless she was involved. In that moment, standing outside her house with police everywhere and her stepfather dying in a helicopter, Christina realizes something horrifying. Her mother knows who did this, and she's protecting them. This is the story of Celeste Beard, the mother who manipulated a vulnerable woman into murdering her husband, who bought pink caskets for her teenage daughters while they were still alive, who hunted her own children when they discovered the truth. This is the story of how two sisters survived the most dangerous person in their lives, their own mother, the perfect family that never existed. To understand how a mother becomes a murderer, we need to go back to before the shooting, before the manipulation, before the lies, back to when the Beard family looked perfect from the outside. Christina and Jennifer were born identical twins, best friends from birth, inseparable.
We were built-in friends. I wouldn't know how to be a regular sibling. It's always been nice to have someone who knows exactly what I'm going through.
I missed her so much when we were apart. Jen was my other half.
But when the twins were 13, their parents divorced, and in a devastating custody arrangement, the twins were separated. Christina stayed in Austin, Texas with their mother, Celeste. Jennifer went to Washington State with their father, Craig, hundreds of miles apart, for 3 years.
It was definitely hard not to have my other half with me.
In July 1996, the twins finally reunited. They planned a summer trip together at their grandparents' house in California. They were so excited, laughing, crying happy tears, making up for lost time.
My sister and I never skipped a beat. We were laughing so hard we were crying. I couldn't believe we were actually back together.
But 2 days into the trip, something went wrong. Jennifer tried calling their father, Craig, to let him know they'd arrived safely. No answer. She tried again, and again. Still no answer. After 2 days of silence, the twins received devastating news. Their father had been found dead in his home. He'd left a handwritten letter. Suicide.
I felt like I died that day.
The twins were shattered. What was supposed to be a 2-week reunion became permanent. Jennifer moved to Austin to live with Christina, their mother Celeste, and Celeste's new husband, a man named Stephen Beard. Steve Beard, the man who didn't deserve to die. Steve Beard was 69 years old when he married Celeste, a retired television executive, a self-made millionaire, worth over $12 million.
He lived in a beautiful lakeside mansion in Austin, drove nice cars, had a comfortable retirement planned. But Steve wasn't just wealthy, he was kind. When Jennifer moved in after her father's death, Steve welcomed her with open arms.
When I first met Steve, he was just so sweet, which was a relief because he was technically my stepdad. On Sundays, it was really special because Steve and I would always go to breakfast together, just the two of us. I was very grateful for that relationship.
Steve didn't just accept the twins as his wife's daughters. He formally adopted them. He gave them each a special family ring, the same ring he wore.
He always wore his ring, and when he adopted us, he had rings made for us too. We thought it was the coolest thing.
I was definitely moved. The adoption alone made me feel pretty connected to him.
To the outside world, the Beard family looked perfect, wealthy, happy, stable. Steve adored his wife. He loved the twins like his own daughters. But Celeste had a secret. She didn't love Steve. She never had.
Did your mother ever talk to you about her feelings about Steve? Yeah. She said she married Steve for his money.
Married him for his money. Not for love. Not for companionship. For money.
She'd say things like, "Why won't he die already?" Like she was waiting for him to die so she could inherit everything.
Celeste had it all planned out. Marry the rich old man. Wait for him to die naturally. Inherit $12 million. The only problem? Steve wasn't dying fast enough. At 69, Steve was healthy, active. He could live another 10, maybe 20 years. And Celeste didn't want to wait that long. So she began looking for alternatives. But she couldn't do it alone. She needed someone she could trust. Someone who would understand her situation. February 1999, St. David's Psychiatric Hospital, Austin, Texas. Celeste Beard is admitted after a severe breakdown. She'd been in crisis, threatened harm to herself and her daughter Christina. The police were called. Celeste was committed for treatment, but Celeste wasn't focused on her own recovery. She was drawn to another patient, someone who seemed to understand her pain, and she found Tracy Tarleton. Tracy Tarleton, a complicated friendship. Tracy Tarleton was 45 years old, a manager at a local bookstore, quiet, lonely, dealing with depression. She'd just been admitted to the psychiatric hospital after her own crisis. Tracy was vulnerable, looking for connection, seeking understanding and companionship. Within days, Celeste was spending time with Tracy. Compliments, affection, long conversations, deep eye contact, everything Tracy had been wanting in her life.
She stressed to me that she wanted a sexual relationship with me, which I also wanted.
Celeste made Tracy feel special, wanted, loved, but it was all a lie.
Celeste Beard, I don't think ever loved, maybe didn't even like Tracy Tarleton, but she was willing to engage in a lesbian relationship in order to get what she wanted.
And what Celeste wanted was simple. She wanted Steve dead, but she needed someone else to pull the trigger. So Celeste started planting seeds. She told Tracy that Steve was abusive, that he hurt her, controlled her, made her life hell. None of this was true. Steve was kind, gentle. He'd never raised a hand to Celeste. But Tracy believed her, because when you're desperate for love, you'll believe anything.
I just saw this woman that I loved in a desperate situation, trying to find a way to survive this man that's so awful.
After they were both released from the psychiatric hospital, Celeste kept the relationship going. She invited Tracy to family dinners, birthday parties, the twins' high school graduation. Tracy thought they were friends, maybe more than friends, but the twins saw something else.
They had this weird friendship. I just remember thinking that this lady wants more from our mum than just a platonic relationship.
It was uncomfortable. We didn't understand what was going on.
What the twins didn't know was that Celeste was setting the trap, building trust, building dependency, and once Tracy was completely hooked, Celeste revealed her plan. The murder plot. Celeste told Tracy that she couldn't live with Steve anymore, that he was going to kill her if she didn't get out. But divorce wasn't an option, Celeste said. Steve would never let her go. The only way out was death.
She said, "He's an old man. He's going to die soon. but not soon enough.
Not soon enough. So Celeste proposed a solution. Tracy would kill Steve.
She had a plan. She wanted me to shoot him with my shotgun.
Celeste walked Tracy through every detail: where to park, which door to use, how to enter the house, which bedroom, where Steve would be sleeping.
She showed me where to enter the grounds, where to park. We walked through how to exit my car, where I would enter the house, how I would approach the bedroom.
Tracy owned a 20-gauge shotgun, a Franke shotgun, with her name engraved on it. Think about that. Celeste convinced Tracy to commit murder with a weapon that had Tracy's name on it. That's how delusional Tracy was, how completely Celeste controlled her. Tracy believed she was saving the woman she loved. In reality, she was being set up to take the fall. The night everything changed. October 1st, 1999, 11:47 p.m. Steve Beard is asleep in his bed, exhausted from a long day. He has no idea that his wife has been drugging him, putting sleeping pills in his food, making sure he sleeps deeply, making sure he won't wake up when the killer arrives. Celeste leaves the side door unlocked, the door that leads directly upstairs. Then she goes to bed, in a separate room, waiting. October 2nd, 1999, 2 a.m. Tracy Tarleton parks her car near the Beard mansion. She's shaking, terrified, but she's convinced herself this is the right thing to do. She's saving Celeste, rescuing her from an abusive husband. Tracy walks to the side door. It's unlocked, just like Celeste said it would be. She enters the house, quiet, dark. She climbs the stairs, shotgun in her hands. She approaches Steve's bedroom. The door is open. Steve is asleep, completely unaware. Tracy raises the shotgun and pulls the trigger.
I walked into the bedroom. I saw him, and I held up, and I shot him.
The blast is deafening. Steve wakes up, screaming in pain. Blood is everywhere. Tracy panics, drops the shotgun shell, runs, out of the house, into her car, gone.
Inside the house, Steve is dying. He's been shot in the stomach at close range. He's conscious, in agony, but he can't move. He can't call for help, can't reach the phone. He's alone, bleeding, terrified, confused. Why would someone do this? Celeste doesn't come to help him. She waits until enough time has passed. Then she wakes up Christina.
Someone's at the door!
But no one is at the door. Celeste called 911 herself, from a phone inside the house, making it look like she discovered Steve after the attack, making it look like she had nothing to do with it. The performance begins. Steve is rushed to the hospital, critical condition. The bullet tore through his stomach, massive internal bleeding. He needs emergency surgery. The twins are terrified, confused, and their mother is acting strange.
As we're walking out of the house, my mum leans over and whispers to me, "If the police ask who might have done this, don't mention Tracy's name."
Don't mention Tracy's name. Why would Celeste say that? Christina doesn't understand, but she listens to her mother, at first. But when detectives interview her at the hospital, Christina makes a decision.
The detectives asked me, "Who do you think shot your father?" And I said, "My mum doesn't want me to mention this, but I'm not supposed to say Tracy Tarleton."
Tracy Tarleton. The detectives immediately focus on her. Within days, they obtain a search warrant for Tracy's home.
We asked Miss Tarleton if she owned a shotgun. She said yes. I asked if I could see it. She thought for a few minutes and said, okay. She gave us a Franke 20-gauge shotgun, had her name inscribed on the weapon itself.
Her name, engraved on the murder weapon. Ballistics tests confirm it. This is the gun that shot Stephen Beard. On October 8, 1999, Tracy Tarleton is arrested and charged with attempted murder. But detectives know there's more to this story.
There was no reason for Tracy to do this completely on her own. She had no motive. She barely knew Steve Beard.
So who put her up to it? Tracy refuses to talk. She sits in jail, silent, protecting Celeste. And Celeste walks free. For weeks, Steve fights for his life. The twins visit him every day, holding his hand,
praying he'll recover, but the damage is too severe. On January 22, 2000, Steve Beard dies from complications related to the shooting. He was 75 years old. The twins are devastated.
We loved Steve. He never wanted us to worry about anything. He just wanted us to be loved and enjoy our lives.
Coming from Washington State, losing my father, Steve filled that role for me. I'll never forget that.
With Steve's death, the charges against Tracy are upgraded, from attempted murder to murder. And Celeste? She inherits everything. The mansion, the cars, the $12 million estate, everything. Exactly what she wanted. The pink caskets. A few days after Steve's death, Celeste takes the twins to a funeral home. They need to pick out a casket for Steve. The funeral director walks them through the showroom. Mahogany, oak, bronze. The twins are crying, still in shock. Then Celeste stops, in front of two caskets. Pink, delicate, beautiful.
I'm going to get these for you girls.
The twins freeze.
She's like, I'm gonna get these for you guys.
I'm thinking, why? We're 18 years old. Why would we need caskets?
The funeral director looks uncomfortable, but Celeste insists. She purchases both pink caskets, has them stored, and then she smiles.
In the back of my mind, I thought, am I going in this casket soon?
At the time, Jennifer thought she was being paranoid. She wasn't. Over the next few weeks, Celeste's behavior becomes increasingly erratic, violent, unstable. The twins are terrified of her.
We'd all be crying, and Celeste would just be laughing.
She had these crazy eyes, kind of manic, very loud and emotional, but it didn't seem real.
Then, on February 16th, 2000, things reach a breaking point. Celeste is at home with the twins. Suddenly, she says something chilling. The twins think she's joking. She's not.
All of a sudden, she pulls out a knife. She's holding it like this, and she moves towards us.
She causes herself an injury in the leg.
She's bleeding heavily.
The twins call 911. Paramedics rush Celeste to the hospital. She's admitted to the psychiatric ward, and from her hospital bed, Celeste starts calling the twins, constantly, day and night.
She's yelling and screaming at me over the phone. Would go from normal to screaming, back to normal.
Christina decides to start recording the calls, just to prove to herself that this is really happening, that her mother is really this unstable. And that's when Celeste says it.
I hired somebody to kill Tracy.
Christina freezes. I hired somebody to kill Tracy.
It made it all real, and it made it all unsafe.
In that moment, everything clicks. If Celeste hired someone to kill Tracy, then Celeste was involved in Steve's murder. Tracy didn't act alone. Celeste planned it. And now Celeste is talking about hiring another killer to kill Tracy, which means she could hire someone to kill the twins too. The pink caskets, the knife attack, the constant threats. It all makes sense now. Celeste is going to kill them.
The twins run for their lives. March 2000. Jennifer and Christina make a decision. They have to disappear.
I cleared out my bank account. Christina and I went on the run. No trace. We stayed in motels. Everything we did with cash.
Celeste was trying to find us. Every day trying to find us.
The twins live in terror, moving from motel to motel, never staying in one place too long, paying cash so there's no paper trail, phones turned off, because they know their mother is hunting them.
All I kept replaying in my head was, we are in danger. It was definitely terrifying. Like we're not coming home from this.
There weren't enough locks on the door for the two of us to feel safe.
But the twins have evidence. The recorded phone calls. Celeste confessing to hiring a killer. Celeste threatening them. They take the recordings to the police, and they file for a family violence protective order. It's granted. Now Celeste legally cannot contact the twins. But more importantly, the recordings prove what investigators have suspected all along. Celeste Beard orchestrated her husband's murder. Tracy breaks her silence. For over 2 years, Tracy Tarleton has been sitting in jail, silent, protecting Celeste, still believing that Celeste loves her. But in March 2002, Tracy reads something in the newspaper. The twins have been granted a protective order against their mother. Celeste is dangerous. And in that moment, Tracy realizes the truth. She was used. Celeste never loved her. Celeste manipulated her, exploited her, set her up to take the fall, and now Celeste is threatening her own daughters. Tracy decides to talk. She contacts investigators, and she tells them everything.
Celeste had a plan. She wanted me to shoot Steve with my shotgun. She showed me where to enter the house, how to approach the bedroom, and I did it. I shot him.
With Tracy's testimony and the twins' recorded confessions, investigators finally have enough. On March 28, 2002, Celeste Beard is arrested, charged with capital murder. The twins can finally breathe.
I felt like if she doesn't go to jail, I was going to be living underground forever. With her on the street, nobody's safe.
But the fight isn't over. Now they have to make sure she never gets out. The trial. February 3rd, 2003. The trial of Celeste Beard begins. The courtroom is packed, and sitting at the defense table, calm and composed, is Celeste, staring at her daughters.
I felt like I don't want to be in the same room with her. I was afraid.
Worst thing I've ever had to do in my life is see Celeste staring back at me when I had to sit on the stand.
The prosecution calls witness after witness, building a devastating case. Celeste married Steve for his money. She spent over $500,000 in the first 6 months of marriage. On clothes, jewelry, artwork. Steve's money, not hers. She drugged him with sleeping pills so she could sneak out at night. She met Tracy in a psychiatric hospital and manipulated her into a sexual relationship. She convinced Tracy that Steve was abusive, and she planned his murder down to the smallest detail. Then Tracy takes the stand. The courtroom goes silent.
Celeste said Steve was abusive, that she couldn't live with him anymore. She said he's an old man. He's going to die soon, but not soon enough. She had a plan. She wanted me to shoot him with my shotgun.
And did you shoot Stephen Beard?
Yes, I shot him once.
Tracy describes walking into the house, approaching Steve's bedroom, seeing him asleep, raising the shotgun, pulling the trigger. Celeste sits at the defense table, shaking her head, smiling, like this is all a joke. But then the twins testify, and Celeste's smile disappears. The daughters testify. Christina takes the stand first. She looks directly at her mother.
Did your mother ever talk to you about her feelings about Steve Beard?
Yes. She said she married Steve for his money.
Did she say what would happen if Steve died?
Yes. She said she'd get it all. She would say, "Why won't he die already?"
The jury looks horrified. Jennifer testifies next. She describes the pink caskets, the knife attack, the constant threats, and then the prosecution plays the recorded phone calls. Celeste's voice fills the courtroom. Manic, screaming, unstable.
I hired somebody to kill Tracy.
Then laughing, hysterical laughing. Some jurors shift uncomfortably. One woman puts her hand over her mouth. Because this isn't just evidence. This is evil, recorded, undeniable. The defense tries to argue that Celeste is mentally ill, that she wasn't responsible for her actions, but the jury isn't buying it. The verdict, March 19th, 2003. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury returns.
Before we bring the jury out, if there is anyone in the courtroom who feels they may have an emotional outburst, I would ask that you please leave at this time. Miss Johnson, would you please stand?
Celeste stands, calm, composed, like she knows she's going to walk free.
We'd been waiting for this for 3 years. And you can't really know what 12 people you've never met are going to do.
Madam Foreperson, please read the verdict.
State of Texas versus Celeste Beard Johnson. We, the jury, find the defendant, Celeste Beard Johnson, guilty of the offense of capital murder.
Guilty. The courtroom erupts. The twins are crying, holding each other. Celeste shows no emotion.
I had a flood of emotions. I wasn't expecting to get so worked up. She is our mom, and she's going to jail for the rest of her life.
Sentencing comes next. But before the judge announces the sentence, Christina asks to speak. She stands up, walks to the front of the courtroom, and looks her mother directly in the eyes. Christina's final words.
What did I ever do to you except love you? That's just how you treated us. Like trash. You say we turned on you, but you turned on us. You turned on the whole Beard family. Steve let you into his home, loved you, honored you, and you violated him and murdered him. You are guilty. Shame on you.
The courtroom is silent. Celeste stares at her daughter. No emotion, no remorse, nothing.
Celeste Beard Johnson, you are sentenced to 2 consecutive 40-year prison terms. You will not be eligible for parole until you are 79 years old.
80 years in prison. Celeste Beard will die behind bars. Justice is served. Forgiveness and healing. After the trial, something unexpected happens. Tracy Tarleton asks to meet with the twins, the woman who murdered their stepfather, who shot him while he slept, who destroyed their family. The twins agree.
That's not an easy thing to do. Sit in the room with the person that actually pulled the trigger.
Tracy sits across from Jennifer and Christina, and she apologizes.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did, for the pain I caused you.
She said she felt really guilty for killing our father, that she was really sorry. I remember that.
The twins listen, and they realize something. Tracy was a victim too, manipulated, used, discarded.
She thought she was agreeing to kill an evil man. I feel really bad for her. I could really relate with the fact that she was a victim here too.
The twins forgive Tracy, not because what she did was okay, but because holding on to hate was destroying them, and forgiveness set them free.
Where they are now. 20 years have passed since the trial. Celeste Beard sits in a Texas prison cell. She maintains her innocence. She'll be eligible for parole when she's 79 years old, if she lives that long. Tracy Tarleton served 20 years for murder. She was released in 2023. She lives quietly, staying out of the public eye. And the twins? Jennifer and Christina are 42 years old now. They've rebuilt their lives.
I have Christina. Christina's my strength. We don't live close to each other, but any chance we can get to visit, we will.
Jennifer focuses on her mental health. She has a good job. She's healing. Christina got married. She has 2 children.
I'm gonna be the mum that I wanted. My kids get to do life like I wished I got to.
The twins survived. They escaped their mother. They testified against her. They ensured she would never hurt anyone again. And they're living proof that even after tragedy, there's a life worth living.
The final question. How does a mother buy caskets for her living daughters? How does she manipulate someone into murder? How does she threaten to kill her own children? The answer is simple. She doesn't see them as people. She sees them as obstacles. Steve was an obstacle to $12 million. The twins were obstacles to her freedom. Tracy was a tool, disposable. To Celeste Beard, everyone was just a means to an end. And when people stopped being useful, she discarded them. But Celeste made one critical mistake. She underestimated her daughters. She thought they would stay quiet, stay obedient, stay afraid. She was wrong. Jennifer and Christina found their voices. They found their strength. They found each other, and they survived. In memory of Stephen Beard, a kind man who deserved better, and in honor of Jennifer and Christina, 2 sisters who refused to be victims. May their story remind us, the people who were supposed to love us can sometimes be the most dangerous, but they don't get to win.